I'm not really terrifically sure why I'm making this video at this particular hour, just that I have the ability to do so. You see, way back in, I believe it was even the beginning of November, it was a while ago, a friend of mine, Ross ACB, posted a photograph of a Video8 camcorder. It was a Sony Video8 camcorder. And I said I was interested, even though it was a low-end model, because it appeared to be one of the newer style ones, so it had a good chance of working. And I said, hey, you're still there? Pick that up for me. I'll come get it. Well, I didn't hear anything back, so the next day, I went over there as quickly as I could, which was basically right around the opening of the thrift store, and opening time for the thrift store, about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't see it. And I thought really nothing more of it. You know, somebody else had bought it, and I was never going to see it again. It wasn't really that big of a deal because it was a low-end model, but it would have been nice to have. Well, tonight I was over there, and it seems every time I go over there I end up with a pile of goodies coming home. And one of those goodies just happened to be this. It is a Sony HandyCam Video8, model number CCD-TR54 and TSC. I took a look at it and said, oh, that's pretty cool. It looks like it's in very good shape. And it is. It's in impeccable condition. And I paused for a minute. You know, hold on a second. That looks very familiar. And yes, indeed, it does. It is the same camera from that picture. So I guess I know what happened to it. This actually belongs to a lineup of about 6, I believe, different model handycams. The TR44, 54, 64, the 74, the 84, and the 94. Yes, 6 models. But none of them are particularly high-end as far as I could tell, because they all have the monophonic, and I presume linear audio, not hi-fi. Certainly doesn't make any mention of hi-fi audio on this. And this would be the second lowest end out of that whole lineup. So it doesn't have features like the color viewfinder or steady shot, or I believe that they list it as 12 to 24 times zoom. I don't know if that's accomplished through digital zoom or some kind of interpolation or something, I don't really know. On the front, we can see that they boast their low light sensitivity, 0.8 lux, and this thing does not have a video light or night shot to work with either, so that's pretty good. Go ahead and get some focus here. We got Sony video lens, optical 12 times zoom. There is the technical specification for all of the camera buffs, and of course autofocus, CCD image sensor, and there is the monophonic audio. It looks like this would have actually been used for the stereo microphone, but that was not used in this particular model. There's a tally light there on the front. Looks like a sensor for the remote commander there. Here on the side, we've got a door, which pulls back to reveal some controls, and if you pop it off here, you will also see that our CR2025 battery is hiding. These controls are actually for things that would normally be found on the menu of a more modern camera, but this camera does not actually have a menu system. We've got remote commander control, we've got the beep control, this thing does make a beep when it turns on, and a record mode control, SP or LP. 12 times variable zoom, there's the model information, title function, which was a big deal. This has an actual titler on it as opposed to the superimposer that a lot of these camcorders had. Backlight compensation, date and time controls. There's our titler, counter reset. Start stop mode, so you can set that to record normally, record only when the record button is pushed, or wait 5 seconds. I think they call that anti-ground shooting. This is about the only advanced feature of this camcorder, the program auto exposure mode. You can see we get a couple of them. Not really sure what that is, other than high speed, maybe. Sports mode, and nighttime. So it doesn't really have too many fancy things. Certainly does not have any video effects. We got our power control there. Battery case supplied. Well, unfortunately I did not get that with it. I did get the NPF33 battery, which is sitting around here somewhere. Using the MP98 battery, you can get up to 5 hours of battery life, which I'm sure was pretty impressive for the time. There's your usual playback controls up here. Eject for the tape, zoom control. On the back you don't get really much. LANC jack there, as well as a battery eject. There's where the battery goes, also for the power supply. There's a standby lock switch. There's the tape basket, as well as the hand strap. Underneath this door, we have the outputs for the video and the monorail audio, because it's, of course, only a mono system, as well as the stinger to provide power for the RF modulator. And my camera is about to run out of battery, so I'm going to plug it in here. You notice this curious little blank down here. If this were a Hi8 model, that would have been where an S-video output would have been. You'll also see that this is fairly long, because, again, it was designed to accommodate the stereo output if the camcorder was so equipped. There's a microphone input jack down there, but curiously, it does not appear as though there is a headphone output. So I guess you're kind of SOL on that one. But anyway, I think I've spent more than enough time yakking on about this camera. The one thing that I noticed about it when I was playing around with it is that apparently the color saturation is rather poor on it. I guess we're going to find out whether that was a function of the lighting conditions, the monitors, you know, the potential lack of light, or if that's just the way that this camcorder behaves. I'll be right back, thanks to the magic of video editing, or I say that all the time, but I guess it's more so the magic of videotape than anything else. Okay, this is the second time I'm trying to record with this camcorder. The first time it did not come out. So I've changed tapes, and I'm now going to check and see if it's the tape that's the problem or if it's the camcorder, because the camera wouldn't even play its own recording. So I guess we'll have to find out. But this is the Sony HandyCam CCD-TR54. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now and see how it turned out. Okay, I just checked the recording and it looks like it actually turned out, so that's very interesting. Not sure what happened with the other tape. Maybe the tape went bad in the time that it's been since I last used it, because I don't use Video8 very often. Most of the time if I use 8mm, I'm using Hi8. There's all 12 times of the zoom. There is, of course, no steady shot with this model. That's how fast the zoom is. This thing is so low-end it doesn't even have a fader. Not even a simple one. But it does have a titler. And it's actually a fairly advanced titler for being a low-end model. But I can't engage it while the camera is recording. If I push the button, it doesn't come on, as you can see there. Same deal with the date and time, although those would work if I happen to have a good CR2025 battery installed, which I will have to do at some point. But other than that, I actually really don't think there's much that I can think of to demonstrate with the camcorder. So I'll go ahead and I'll hit stop and we'll have a look at the titler. As you can see, the titler is now on, and it's a very interesting titler because the title appears in the lower right corner rather than over the video, or more so in the center right about here. Kind of a focus test, see if it'll actually focus that close. But it doesn't look like it will. Anyway, there are quite a few titles here. I did have a look at the video as well. I took a close look at it, and although the color saturation doesn't look terrible, it seems kind of washed out, like the picture's too bright or something, which is kind of interesting. It has backlight compensation. Somewhere around here there's a button for backlight compensation. Right there on the side. I'm looking in the wrong place. Make it a little brighter. going to go ahead and adjust the program auto exposure here on the side. There is what looks like fast mode, didn't really seem to do much. Sports mode really turns down the exposure. And there's twilight recording. Put it back to auto. And I believe that is pretty much all I can think of to describe with that. I've gone ahead and changed the record mode to only record when I'm pushing the button, or at least I believe that's how this works. If I let go of the button, it should stop. Okay, I just learned how that worked. That records 5 seconds of video. I thought it gave you 5 seconds before starting for the anti-ground shooting. I guess not. So, anyway, I think the last thing that I can think of to do... This thing does not have any widescreen or anything like that. The last thing that I can think of to do, I'm going to go ahead and bring the camera over to do it. So I'm going to get the power supply over here. And I'm going to go ahead and have a look at the iMac G3 and we'll power that up. Just as a camera test. And I guess we'll find out if maybe that's what wrecked my recording. So that is a thought. Maybe this thing is susceptible to the RF that the CRT would generate. I don't know. Seems kind of interesting nonetheless. Camera seems to work very nicely when it does work. So, all it really needs is a CR2025 battery and it will be all good to go. I don't think I need to sit here and watch this whole thing start up, so I'm going to stop the recording here. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. You can really see kind of the whole washed out deal over there up in the corner. I'm not sure if maybe the lighting is too bright for this thing or what, but the colors looked okay. It just seemed very kind of, I don't really know how to describe it, soft, washed out. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then. Here's some more test footage that I've shot after cleaning the lens a little bit more thoroughly. I don't think there's much more I can do in that regard because the lens looks pretty spotless. And it's still got that kind of washy look to it. I think it might be a little better. But I'm really not sure. I really don't think so. I'm not really going to know for sure until I import this footage into the computer, but I can definitely see up there in the corner it's still getting kind of upset about the amount of light that's radiating off of things. So I guess that's just kind of the way this camera records. So, well, there you go. That is all I can think of to say. Decent camera. And other than that slight little lighting issue, I don't think there's really anything wrong with it. Maybe the tape issue as well. That might be something to look out for, but there's no bad capacitors or anything like that. Or if there are bad caps, they're not manifesting themselves in an obvious way. The switch on the top, the mode switch, seems to be a little loose. It works fine in the camera mode, but when you go to put it in the VTR mode, it kind of freaks out a little bit. So I'm wondering if maybe there's a loose contact in there somewhere, or something like that. I don't really care, because I don't ever plan on using the VTR mode, but just something worth mentioning nonetheless.